Hey guys, how are you doing? Good? Still awake? Awesome. So I want to first thank you, Irina and Evil Martians, for making all of this. I think this is an amazing conference, so thank you very much to them. Today I'm excited to talk to you about RubyLLM. So, if you don't know me, I'm Carmine Paolino, or Carmine, if you want me to call me like that. I'm the founder of Chat with Work, which is an AI assistant for your workplace. And also I founded another AI company before called FreshFlow. I extracted RubyLLM from Chat with Work, and tomorrow I will have a demo actually in the other room if you wanna go see how it works. And I've been a Ruby enthusiast since 2009, and I was a machine learning engineer and scientist since 2015. Is the mic? Yep. But the thing is, all this time I was in Python AI land, and I have to say, Python owns AI when it's about training models. So now with the LLM age, models cannot be trained anymore. They're too big, too expensive to train. So AI development today looks like this now. It's just API calls. But also, it means that now it's more about building products people want instead of building machine learning models. And you know what's perfect for that? Ruby. So today I'm going to show you that RubyLLM plus Rails is the one API, one person, one machine arsenal for AI. First of all, we need to dismantle some myths. The first myth that I want to dismantle is that you need a complex agent framework or you're not doing real AI. How many people have heard that before? A couple, all right. Oh, that's bullshit. I'm going to show you how and why. So this is a simple chat. This is Python's LangChain, okay? And this is how you just chat with an LLM. So you first need to import a bunch of stuff. This is actually in their tutorial. They ask you to ask the password from the standard input. And then you need to initialize the model, put the messages in there, and then invoke it. Why? This is how to do this in RubyLLM. Prompt templates, another thing that people ask all the time, how to do this? Well, this is how you do it in LangChain Python. You need to import a bunch of stuff, initialize a bunch of stuff. Why, when we can do it this way? We have Ruby, we have string templates. They basically want you to drink the Kool-Aid, the complexity tonic of Dr. LangChain. This is how to track usage with these complex frameworks. Can you see where it is? This is for GPT models. And now let's say you switch models. You want to use Claude, where now it's over there. And can you see where it's in the Gemini response? Oh, it's nowhere. What? This is how you can do it in RubyLLM. Very simple. You change the model, still there. Gemini? Oh, we actually can parse that. This is how you can do multimodality using Python LangChain. You need to import some stuff, convert the image data into base64, initialize the LLM, and then make this whole hash with the messages and then invoke it. Why? When you can do it this way. Simply import RubyLLM, take the image URL, and then pass it as an attachment. What we need is clean abstractions at the right level, and we need to reject the complexity theater. This is why, though, the complexity theater exists, and it's what David calls the merchants of complexity. The merchants of complexity, they want you to buy their support packages in order to make money. And how do you get to people to buy their support packages? Making libraries complicated. The other lie is that you need to use the official SDKs because they're the proper way to do it. Well, the thing is, in AI, it's Christmas every day. So just yesterday, Gemini 3 was released. And do you remember when GPT 5.1 was released? It was only 1 week ago. It feels like forever. So in AI, if you cannot switch fast, you're dead. So this is how I built RubyLLM, on 5 philosophical principles. The first is that simple should be simple, and complex should be possible. Models and providers are commodities. Convention over configuration, progressive disclosure, and one API for one person running in one machine. So let's look at them. So simple should be simple. We already see that example. This is for Python's LangChain. This is from OpenAI's Python SDK. And this is from RubyLLM. But we can go even simpler than that, because we have a default model. Complex should also be possible, though. We don't want to miss out on complex features like multi-agent systems, for example. So this is actually 20 lines of code, which have 4 agents. And they are a security reviewing agent, a performance reviewing agent, and a style reviewing agent. They're all running asynchronously, as you can see here. And then the last agent takes all of these code reviews and it summarizes for them. That's it. Other principles. Models are commodities. So this is how to change the model in RubyLLM. You simply change the model name, and it changes the provider inside. What if you want to actually use a different provider with the same model? Well, it would use Gemini provider in the first example. In this way, it would use Vertex AI. What about OpenRouter? Well, you just change it to OpenRouter like that. And we have 11 supported providers and hundreds of models. And more will come in the future. And any OpenAI compatible one is also compatible in RubyLLM. And also, we support local providers. So with Ollama and GPU Stack, you can actually import all the Ollama models and all the Hugging Face models as well, which are thousands. We also have a model registry with costs and capabilities, so you can actually build your clients correctly. And this is thanks to our friends at Parsera that did all the work about parsing the documentation of the providers. And one more thing, you can also change providers mid-conversation. So you start a conversation using GPT 5.1, and then you want to change it to Gemini 2.5 Flash. You just say chat.winModel, and you can continue the conversation with that model. So let's look at convention over configuration now. Well, this is how you can chat with a model. This is how you can paint an image using another model. You can see that there is no model names, there's no provider names. We all have default providers, default models, so you can get coding really quickly. You can generate embeddings like this. You can moderate content like that. And in the last version, 1.9, we also have transcription of audio. The other principle is progressive disclosure. So what is progressive disclosure? Well, it's simply disclosing all of the different instructions one at a time. So you can start from the most basic kind of way of calling an LLM and adding all of the instructions that you want one by one. You can add the system prompt with instructions. You can add attachments with a with argument of the ask function. You can also add multiple attachments. You can add temperature. You can add parameters that are custom for each single provider. You can even add headers that are custom for each single provider. Well, you can also add tools. And we have a special DSL for tools, so you can just think about your actual code instead of thinking about how to declare a tool for each single provider. And this is how it looks like. So you simply subclass the tool class, and you can declare a description, parameters, and then you can go on and actually write your execute function. This is actually a functioning tool that you can test. And it's also on the website if you want to look at the code. So this will tell you what's the weather in San Francisco. And now in 1.9, we also released a new parameters DSL that actually supports JSON schema. So you can have really complicated parameters in your tools as well. And under the hood is using the fantastic RubyLLM schema, which I'm going to talk about in a second. It also integrates with Rails. And I'm going to show you how we integrate in Rails in less than 2 minutes. So we're creating a new chat app. I have a timer over there. This is real time. I didn't speed it up. So we add RubyLLM. And we install it. This will create the different migrations for the chats, the messages, the tool calls, and the models. And now we migrate our database. It's also loading our model register from models.json inside your model DB. We're adding our OpenAI API key. And we're chatting already. There we go. It only took 54 seconds. Now we're chatting already with the Rails integration, so every single interaction is recorded in your database automatically. And now we can continue by saying hi to the SF Ruby conference people. Let's see what it says. There we go. Now let's say we want to make the chat UI. We simply install the chat UI generator, and there we go. We have a chat UI. Now I want to ask, what's the best programming language? Please, the audience. And it doesn't say Ruby, but we only took 1 minute, 52 seconds to get here, even with all that yapping that we did before. And now we do a new chat. It also has the interface. The interface is not supposed to be beautiful. You can then customize it as you want. But it's just something to get you started. And it uses Hotwire in order to do token streaming. So you can also look at the code, and it's very simple. Uses pretty much no JavaScript. No JavaScript, actually. And we also have a models interface where you can refresh the models. And the code is also very simple. We didn't stop there, though. The community really appreciated the work of RubyLLM, so they started creating gems that can complete RubyLLM in different ways. And these are two of my favorite gems that we added to the RubyLLM ecosystem. One is what I mentioned before, which is RubyLLM schema. So in order to have complex parameters and in order to have structured output, you need to generate JSON schemas. But JSON schemas are kind of ugly. And we wanted to make it simple and beautiful because this is fitting in the philosophy of RubyLLM. And so Daniel Fries actually created this beautiful DSL, and it's called RubyLLM schema. And since 1.9, we actually depend on it as RubyLLM. So it will be installed by default. And as you can see, here we're generating a schema for a product. So we have a string, a number for price, and an array for features, which are strings. And you can simply call dot with schema with your product schema so that RubyLLM knows how to then pass all your JSON schema to the LLM, and the LLM will respond with that structure. There's another cool gem, which is I want to shout out. This is by Patrick Weiss. This is RubyLLM MCP. So you can support you can use RubyLLM as an MCP client by using that, and it's very simple to integrate. You simply connect to your MCP server, and then you call rubyllm.chat.withTools with all the tools from RubyLLM MCP. Question is, does it scale? Well, the thing is, LLM communication is I/O bound. So the best way to do I/O bound I/O-bound workloads is to use async. And if you're not familiar with async, it's basically an ecosystem of gems created by Samuel Williams, which uses fibers. I'm not going to go too much into that in this keynote, but the idea is that the traditional worker-based job queues, they have a concept of the amount of workers. And they always have a max worker pool. In async job, not only uses fibers, which are much more efficient for LLM communication and I/O-bound operations, but they also don't have necessarily a max worker pool. You can set it up if you want to, in order to not blow up your memory. But this uses your resources much more efficiently by essentially have all of the things running in one thread, and each single fiber is yielding to the next fiber whenever there is I/O. So it doesn't use a lot of memory in order to do your communication, and it will be as fast as possible, essentially, in your Ruby code. If you want to learn more, you can talk to me later, or you can actually look at my blog post, which I linked over there. And this is how to set it up. This is all you need for scale in order to satisfy the one machine part of the philosophy. So you simply add Falcon, async job adapter active job, async job processor Redis, async cable to your gem file. And then you need to do this just because a PR didn't get merged yet in Rails, which Bova is very aware of. And this is your initializer for async job. It looks complicated, but it's really simple. You have two functions here. One is the enqueue, and one is the dequeue. And you basically process everything through Redis. So you need to enqueue it in Redis, and you need to dequeue it from Redis. And this is how you declare it. And that's it. This is RubyLLM in as short as possible. It's the one API for one person and one machine's thousands of users. But don't take my word for it. I released RubyLLM 1.0 in March 11th, and someone posted it on Hacker News, and March 15th, it was the #1 on Hacker News, which was delightful and unexpected. And this is the history. So when I launched, I had a few hundred stars, and then just 1 week later, thanks to that post, it became 1,700 star. Which was really, really cool, and again, unexpected. And now we're at version 1.9.2, more than 3,200 stars, and more than 4 million downloads, which is really incredible. And it has been 14 times the #1 trending Ruby repository on GitHub. It's also thanks to the community. And thanks to all the contributors. We have more than 50 or 60 contributors in the repo, and more coming. And the community has been really great. Has been also sending issues and nerd sniping me in all kinds of ways for me to implement different things. And also, this is what the developers are saying. So this was really cool to see that they realized that it's better than any other Python library before. So I really like that comment. And it makes it really easy to get it up and running. And these are more comments from my survey. And it's used at a lot of companies. So it's already in production in all of these companies. And there are many others out there that they didn't fulfill the survey, or they didn't give me their logo or their permission to use their logo. But I'm very happy to see that. So what's next? Well, RubyLLM is growing, but I don't like to make promises. RubyLLM is kind of a gift to the community. However, I will make one exception now because evaluations will be coming. I think evaluations are a super important part of the LLM pipeline. After figuring out how your system prompts and your prompts for your tools work, then you will need to test them, and this is the way to test them. So evaluation will be coming. So I think this is Ruby's time to shine in AI. We before were definitely surpassed by Python because Python had the better libraries. They had NumPy, they had SciPy, they had TensorFlow. They had all of these libraries for AI. However, now AI is really product development. And since it's product development, who is the best community to make products? I think it's Ruby. And the thing is, this community, when is /complexity, we built Shopify, GitHub, Basecamp, you name it, and all your startups that you're building right now. So it means that less complexity actually means better products. And I think we have the right tools for that. So go ship AI apps. Thank you.